Welcome to the New York City Diaries of a 23-year-old girl. My name is Macy, and today I'm going to be sharing what I've been up to. Yes, that includes meeting Olivia Rodrigo and Chuck Bass, but today is going to be more so of a sit-down video where I'm sharing what is on my mind as of late because I have been in a bit of a slump. A lot has been on my mind this past month, and truthfully, I've been feeling a little bit complacent, at least within the last month, especially on YouTube. I haven't really been uploading as consistently as I was a few months ago. So today I'm going to be giving some life updates and we're going to just chat through what's been on my mind as of late. I moved to this lovely new apartment, which I've been so grateful to live in, and I've established a new routine. I've been sticking to my 6 days a week workout routine. I've been waking up early, like all the usual things that I talk about. I have been able to maintain consistency over, but I wanted to chat about this feeling that I've been having, and I imagine that there's a lot of people out there that may relate to it. I think it's part of being young. Like, I'm 23, living alone in New York City. I'm originally from Orange County, California, so all of my friends and family from home are like over 2,000 miles away. I've had to kind of establish a life for myself here alone. I financially support myself fully. I've been doing so for some time now, and I've established a fair routine. However, I do think there is a level of fulfillment that I feel like I'm lacking. The main topic that I wanted to talk about for this video, and I've printed out a bunch of notes and research, is instant gratification. This past week, I've been seeing some videos about how your phone is the reason why you're not hot, and also a lot about phone addiction. I think I have a phone addiction. I think this phone addiction concept is something that has just been normalized by everybody. I would say, especially if you're honestly just anywhere from the 20s range, you probably have a phone addiction, because that's just been so normalized in our culture, and it's honestly a little concerning. So today I was doing some research on what are the effects that instant gratification can have on the brain, because the biggest thing that I feel like I'm struggling with is this sense of discipline almost diminishing. Sometimes I notice that when I'm like on my phone frequently or watching shows on Netflix, doing things that aren't that amazing, online shopping, I tend to have like less of a tolerance for some of the more high friction activities that I engage with on a day-to-day basis. So say that's waking up really early, or going to the gym consistently, or just doing things that require a little bit more effort. I notice that when I engage a lot more with my phone, there's just much more disdain to engage in these activities versus if I had just been clean, cold turkey, not involved with that. So I printed out my research here, and I wanted to share because I think these are things that we should take more seriously. And I took a lot of like anthropology classes in college and learned just the basics on biology. Why do humans do the things they do? How did we evolve, etc., etc. I highly doubt that we as humans were built to have Amazon Prime same-day delivery with all of our food and things and knickknacks and whatever, but we did. And now I'm just kind of curious from like a discussion standpoint, like if anyone has any thoughts on this, because I clearly have a lot. So the question that I'm researching is, how does instant gratification from social media, like short form content or online shopping, how do these high reward activities impact the brain? Granted, now I'm conducting my own research, so all claims that I'm making are purely speculative based on what I've found. That's my disclaimer. Okay, like this is what I have here. The brain's reward system, particularly the dopamine pathways, is heavily influenced by instant gratification. Something like short form content or instant purchases and deliveries has an impact. Over time, frequent dopamine spikes can desensitize the brain's reward system, reducing sensitivity to smaller or delayed rewards, which makes it harder to find satisfaction in tasks requiring sustained effort, like studying or long-term projects. I'm gonna keep going. Prefrontal cortex and self-control. Low-effort activities can weaken the prefrontal cortex neural connections, impairing self-control and decision-making. Studies suggest excessive social media use correlates with reduced gray matter volume in the prefrontal cortex linked to poor impulse control, which can erode resilience because the brain becomes less capable of handling frustration, setbacks, or tasks requiring sustained effort, making individuals more prone to give up when faced with challenges. So the consequence of this all is that this can weaken cognitive resilience, making it harder to focus on complex tasks or recover from mental fatigue as the brain becomes wired for quick switches rather than sustained effort. It's just like so interesting to me just to understand how that actually translates into your day-to-day, because it gives me hope that there is control over when I'm feeling in a slump like how I have within the last month. These are things that I can be more aware of and therefore shift my outcome. Instant gratification can alter how the brain handles emotions and stress. So low effort rewards provide temporary emotional relief, but over-reliance can reduce the brain's ability to cope with discomfort or uncertainty. So for example, binge watching or impulsive online shopping can act as avoidance mechanisms, bypassing the need to process negative emotions. Oh, I struggle with this. I cannot be the only one that struggles with this, but I'm gonna be the first to admit that I do. I impulse shop all the time, and I also like to binge watch. I just binge watched Bridgerton. I binge watched Squid Games. Like, that is so unproductive, and I'm not proud to admit that, but I will do that whenever I am trying to avoid some sort of like uncomfortable scenario. I have less tolerance for situations where I'm not like on some sort of like dopamine high. Individuals may struggle with emotional resilience, becoming less equipped to handle delayed outcomes or adversity as the brain leans on quick fixes to regulate mood. The ability to order takeout, right, and have it delivered from DoorDash or Uber Eats. Now, I'm also very guilty of this. Every Friday, my routine is that I order DoorDash or Uber Eats, and I treat myself, and okay, fine. But then by doing that once, it does get a little bit easier to do that again. Like, if I don't have anything meal prepped, it is so much easier to have a quick fix because I'm hungry, I want something right now, I don't have time to go scavenge for food at the grocery store, and it is a privilege. It's tough because like when these actions are so embedded into our daily routines, like how do you reverse that? I'm gonna go on to the next point. The brain's neuroplasticity means it adapts to repeated behaviors, reinforcing neural pathways associated with instant gratification. So for instance, checking Instagram notifications or ordering via Amazon Prime becomes habitual as the brain automates these actions to conserve energy. This can create a feedback loop where the brain increasingly craves instant rewards, sidelining pathways for effortful tasks. The brain becomes used to instant gratification and things that are high effort and a bit more uncomfortable, so those high friction activities that I was talking about becomes much more difficult. The point that I want to make here is we need to be a bit more aware of and catch ourselves so we don't continue to progress too far down the rabbit hole where we aren't able to socialize without our phones or require a level of instant gratification to feel fulfilled. The joy that I feel when I accomplish something myself is significantly greater than that of being able to just buy it and instantly get it. Like, it's a short rush that's very easy, but the ease is not happiness. The more accustomed that I get to these options, the easier it is to become complacent, and I have allowed myself to slip, and that is unfortunate, but I think that's normal for all of us to slip because we live in a society that condones it. So now let's actually talk about what I'm doing to combat this. Number one, I've implemented stricter parental controls. I got a new phone. I now only have 30 minutes total for all social media usage combined. So Instagram, TikTok, whatever, like all of it combined, 30 minutes max. And the goal is to not hit the 30 minutes max. Same with like entertainment. So Netflix, games, I have this like word game that I play. Something that I'm trying to work on is embracing boredom. So for instance, even cleaning in silence. We always need to be entertained or distracted whenever we're doing something that we don't necessarily like. My goal is to build up more tolerance towards activities that I don't like and be able to entertain myself because I don't want to have to rely on a Netflix show or a podcast even, or even music to get myself through the day. I would like to be able to be self-sufficient and not be like freaked out if I have to wash my dishes and not hear anything. So yeah, I have been doing my meal prepping in silence. I've also been trying to find other ways to increase my endurance. Now that it's summer and it's finally warm, the cold showers can come back. Okay, this is something so simple, but like taking the stairs. Like when you have the option to take the stairs, just take the stairs. I push myself to do something that isn't necessarily as convenient, and the way I see it is that everything compounds. If it adds to my resilience, then I'll do it. And the other thing that I've been trying to incorporate is 1 hour of consistent focus. Whatever it is, I write it down and get it done within that hour, and I feel like that's been really helpful at strengthening my ability to just trust myself and my ability to focus, and then 2, actually execute and make progress on other projects. I really want to make the most of my 20s, and I want to be productive, but I also don't want to like focus so much on productivity that I'm not actually feeling fulfilled. And I think I've been able to find a good balance. So, fun fact, I saw Chuck Bass from Gossip Girl, which was crazy, and Olivia Rodrigo. Lancome had an incredible event in Soho, and I had the honor and privilege of attending as a guest, and it was so incredible. Like, it was beautiful. The event space was phenomenal. They had like amazing hors d'oeuvres. I literally had caviar chicken nuggets. I got my makeup done. They did like touch-ups and stuff. The president of Lancome came out with Olivia Rodrigo announcing their partnership, which was crazy. And then Ed Westwick, which is the guy that plays Chuck Bass in Gossip Girl, was like there as an attendee, just like walking around. They also had this incredible wall of juicy tubes, and you could just take a juicy tube from the wall. So I got a bunch, and they gave you these like incredible goodie bags. It was so cool. It was honestly such a great experience. I feel so privileged to be able to attend something like that, and it was so fun. This was just so crazy and so cool. And I'm very, very grateful. So yeah, that was a big highlight. Moments like that makes me kind of reflect on, you know, wanting to romanticize my life. Like that's kind of the concept and theme that I've gone with my channel, but I feel like there's so many little moments that we all take for granted, and, you know, the routines and habits that we all have, like those are things that make up your life. Oftentimes, like we wish away so much of our 20s. Like it's always like, oh, I can't wait until I like get my boyfriend and then I get married and, you know, have babies and stuff, and the pressure is on, especially for women. But I feel like we tend to forget that it's also super awesome to be single and free and to just enjoy that. Like this is the only time period of my life that I'll ever be able to really enjoy that, and I'm finally in a position where I'm able to like treat myself and do cool things and go to these really awesome events. And what a privilege. I think that's part of what romanticizing life looks like and feels like to me, like the sense of urgency almost to enjoy and indulge. But yeah, that was all I had for y'all today. I felt like this was a very interesting discussion that I would love to hear more thoughts on from other people, because I think it's very relevant to everything our society as a whole is experiencing. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I hope this video was insightful. I will see you in next week's video.